Oh, a rainy, muddy day here in Ontario. Unfortunately, I didn't get to jog anything myself today. I had a bunch of work to do. I have to working on the staking right now, getting that updated, talking to a few people. It's going well, and I actually like the way they moved a couple of stakes around. It makes things easier for us. It allows us to really look at each horse's schedule a little more closely, I guess. The one thing I want to avoid this year is overlap, if at all possible. And then with a number of 3-year-olds, we have some interesting cases with a few of them. I'm trying to figure out exactly what horses can do, given the information I have. I try to stay away from what they might be able to do, but in some cases I have to. A horse I mentioned to Steve and a couple of people the other day, Brace for Landing, we will be doubling down. So for those of you who really are from Missouri, the Show Me State, I won't be able to show you until he's already well into his staking. But we are going to double down on the staking for Brace for Landing, simply because I think he's a good horse. He's got a good work ethic. He's got a very deep pool of pedigree behind him. And I can't really give you any reason he can't be good. Now, we're going to try and stay away from those types of scenarios as much as we can this year, but they will pop up. I can go this way, actually. But they will pop up from time to time, and he is one of them. And I know I'm going to have some pushback from some of my partners saying, I just don't think, I get it, and there's no argument I can make other than we are going to double down on Brace for Landing stakes. I just think it's the right way to go. All the information I have in front of me is there doesn't seem to be any reason there'd be a ceiling to his speed. He trotted 55 to piece, 56 last year. I won in 56 him at the Meadows as easy as you're going to win with a horse. Bark won as easy in 56 at the Poconos as easy as you're going to win with a horse. Now, didn't amount to a whole lot as they were overnight races. One was a leg of a series. But nevertheless, a talented colt, and I do believe in this particular instance we will go down that partially unlit highway a little bit further. And then you have another horse like Tailgate Buzz. Nice horse, not quite Grand Circuit material, but a very, very nice, both him and Austral Hanover. As much as I rave about Austral Hanover, we're not going to stake him that much differently than we did last year. There's going to be lots of PA stuff there for him. Some other late closers that will pop up. Unfortunately, him and Tailgate Buzz got a little too much money made and a few too many wins to fit in those early closures in March. So there's no massive rush to get them there. We just want to get them there around April-ish. March into April. Any earlier and you really jeopardize the end portion of the year. Now, I guess the saving grace in that regard is Pennsylvania really kind of runs their stake races out, where they start in probably start in May for the 3-year-olds, and they're done by, I don't have the exact date, but I suspect it's somewhere near the end of July, first part of August. So way before September, I believe. So they're a little bit different. So I'm working on that portion of the staking today, and then we have the 2-year-olds. I'm left trying to extrapolate what I can see into factoring in how well are they bred, how good are they training. And really, you have to be careful with the first part, because some of our best horses are not the best bred horses. Some of our most effective horses were not the deepest pedigrees. So I'm left really seeing, okay, here's a horse who appears to have a good work ethic, strong, athletic looking animal. Where do I see this horse going? This is the toughest part of my job. Now, the January stake payments are not super expensive, but they do lead into, the February stake payments, they do lead into March, April, May. So once you start getting into that April payment, it's a little hefty, especially if you're going a little deeper on staking. So again, we want to avoid those first steps of, it's only $200 or $300 in February. Yes, but it's double that in March. Maybe in some cases double that in April. So taking a serious look. Again, I don't want to understake horses in a year that we've spent twice as much in yearlings we ever have. So I don't want to do that. But at the same token, I'd rather avoid overlap and unrealistic hopes and dreams for the stake horses. Now, that will be likely music to the ears to some, but I wouldn't be too happy. There is still going to be an extensive staking bill for the stable.ca, both February, March, April, and a little bit into May. So That's what I'm doing today on this rainy day in Ontario. I was going to say Guelph, but we're at Guelph. I don't know what first line is listed as Milton or Rockwood. I'm not really sure. What else going on today? Obviously, we have some horses racing tonight. You know, I did an earlier video, but I felt that I was distracted. I had a number of text messages coming in, and I had a number of phone calls coming in, so I decided just to start it over. 2 points of clarification on two things. Firstly, I got a lot of emails in 2 counts yesterday. First from She's a Sassy Beach, a horse that originally was in Ontario, did very well. And not very well, it did pretty well in the staking program. Ended up taking a mark of 52, making $128,000 or $30,000 in her career so far. She's 5 now, I think. Mark of 52 and 4. And we purchased her yesterday. We didn't pay a lot for her, $15,400 US. We paid for her. Now we can bring her home. Our options at home are the numbers of 3,000, which is an optional 20 claimer. That's one option. We have a 15 claimer, which puts us at about par, at about even. That's an option. Our other option was to leave her in New Jersey. Now, Megan had called me and said, you know, she fits the bottom classes here. There's claimers here. They also have a Fillies and Mares amateur race. Pretty easy filly to drive. And they go for 12.5, and they're not really strong. So I don't know a ton about She's a Sassy Beach. I've watched her videos, maybe 5 or 6 of them, talked to a couple of people about her. She's a foot soldier, as I put her yesterday in a video. Middle of the road, hold the line type horse. Now we're going to have some people that say I don't want any part of her because she's in New Jersey. So I will caution a lot of our clients. We're going to be doing a lot of business. You know, we don't race a lot at Yonkers. They race for the most money of any track in North America for the most part, race per race. We don't do a lot of business in Yonkers. That's not to say we won't. Patrick the Piranha, no, he didn't race there last year, but we did have some horses race there. Not a ton, but some, and that's not to say we won't in the future. So if you're one of our clients that want to be on the list of buying expensive horses, that want to be on the list of buying that top-end, top-quality horse, be forewarned. There may be an opportunity to race in Yonkers, to race at Saratoga if we're racing Patrick the Piranha at Plainridge next summer. There may be some overlap to Saratoga. So I know it's frustrating. I know it's annoying. I've done my best for the better part of 8 years to try and get this squared away, but there just isn't enough pushback from the breeders, from the smaller stakeholders and larger stakeholders in New York and New Jersey. There just isn't a pushback. And until people start doing a little bit more in the way of fractional ownership, which they should, I might add, then it's going to be very hard to tread water. No one in New Jersey or New York cares what Anthony McDonald in Ontario thinks. To them, I'm not a stakeholder for their state. In a sense, they're right. But that shouldn't and won't stop us from doing business in either of those states. In fact, still, a lot of the Grand Circuit, although some of it has moved to Hoosier Park, which is interesting, there's still a lot of it in New Jersey, and there will continue to be a lot of it in New Jersey. You know, still some of the best sires are still there right now. You have Walner, who is staked out of New Jersey. A lot of those horses are dual eligible, but first and foremost, New Jersey. So, some of our best horses really don't care. Blanton's Blue, these are very interesting type horses. Again, New York. So, if you want to be a part of the overall picture, I know it's frustrating, but it may be worth going out and getting that National Racing Compact license. It's, I think, $300 over 3 years. They hold your fingerprints on their files, and they will get you licensed. Call them up, say, hey, I need to get a license in New York or New Jersey. They can get that done for you. So, or Indiana, or anywhere for the most part. So there's that, and I would urge people to look into that. Now, if you're just somebody who wants to buy 1% in a horse and you don't want a New Jersey license, I don't blame you. But if you're going to be a part of the bigger scope, the bigger stage of what the stable does, then I would urge everybody to at least examine and look into getting your National Racing Compact license. It's a lot. It reduces a lot of headaches, a lot. So, She's a Sassy Beach is going to start at the Meadowlands next week. We'll see how it goes. We have the option to bring her back to Ontario. We have the option to race her in virtually every racetrack in North America because she wasn't that expensive. I mean, if you want to, we can just put her in for 15. With her allowance, we're ahead of the game anyway. I'm sure she can do a 15 almost anywhere. So that's the plan with Sassy. We'll get the staking done. And I also got some emails last night from some people saying, oh, Kings County, clearly it's time for a rest. Guys, I would caution you about making knee-jerk reactions. Oh, you raced bad. Oh, got to go to the field. Clearly he screwed up. Just relax. They're horses. He's coming off a break. Missed 2 weeks. Was parked the whole way. They get over the half in 58 and come the last half in 56. None of what I just said is very helpful for Kings County. Stacy said he was fine after the race. He drank. They were going to scope him, draw blood on him. Before we get those results back, I'm not going to make any decisions. Nor will Stacy. Nothing will be done. Everything is in a holding pattern until we find out what happened yesterday. Is it as easily explainable as I just did? All those factors go into a bad performance. Is that what happened in Kings County? First and foremost, is he sound? Especially what's going on. I've told everybody, no stone unturned. We're going to be looking at everything moving forward. I want to make sure that everybody is okay moving forward. Is Kings County okay? I suspect the answer is yes. I've talked to Stacy a couple of times today. She never mentioned any issues with King. Waiting to get blood back. Scope actually was good. So there's no issue in that regard. Once we get the blood work back, then we can talk more about the trip or Kings County in general. So I understand everybody wants what's best for Kings County, but jumping to conclusions with absolutely no information other than what you just saw, it's not really that helpful to anybody. So I would caution everybody, same as I have to a lot of the times, when things don't go our way, and this has been a bad week, when things don't go our way, just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and understand that there are some questions to be answered before we jump to conclusions. So King is sound. Everything is all right in that regard. We'll draw his blood. I'll talk to Stacy and Brett a little bit more. And hey, if he does need a break, then so be it. He's earned it. So that's where we're at. And especially with breeding season coming up, I do have those. I think I really have to go over the breeding with a couple of our clients that do that sort of thing and say, okay, here's our broodmare roster. Who crosses well with Kings County? It's obviously a Muscle Hill, so lots of them will, but there are some that won't. If they won't, where do we go? I need to have those questions answered before February 1st. I want them all answered. Everything that has to do with our mares and their breeding, I want answered by February 1st. That's a goal for me. So that's where we're at right now. Just getting through the staking, starting it out now. Came to get Amy, it's cold. Came to get Amy some soup. Good soup here. I wanted to touch on, she's a sassy girl. Sassy Beach, she's a sassy beach. I wanted to touch on Kings County. I want to touch on the staking. We get all three of those done. Now, hopefully it stops raining because I have some horses to drive tonight. I'm interested. I haven't gone very much with my 1%, maybe in quite a while. One day I trained him a couple of weeks ago. I'm interested to go with him tonight. Matt's MVP. This will likely be his last start for us. He is in the sale on Monday, the preferred equine sale. Who else do we got today? We got Atlas Hanover racing later on at Dover. And we have Walk on the Moon and Stonebridge Hecate at the Meadows. Now, I was all set to bring HB Maestro back to Ohio. He's a little sick this week. We missed a week with him. But the veterinarian had put him on penicillin. Now, in penicillin, not often we use penicillin. But in Ontario, you have to put a slip in to say I used penicillin on my horse. I think you have to stop administering it 72 hours out, and then you have to put this slip in for, I think, 21 days, if I'm not mistaken, because it will show up in their urine and their blood, and you need documentation saying this is why it's in their blood type thing. You can do that in Pennsylvania, you can do it in Ontario, but you can't do it in Ohio. There's no slip program. So he can't race in Ohio for the next 3 weeks. So we're going to race him next week in Pennsylvania, see how he races, and then go from there with him. It's not the end of the world. It is not exactly what I wanted, but not the end of the world either. So he'll be in to go next week also. So we're looking to acquire some horses on Monday. I'm eager and hopeful about the sale on Monday. We did buy Sassy yesterday. We are looking at a couple of horses today, and we'll see how that goes over. But for right now, you guys are all caught up in everything going on. I will talk to you all very, very soon. If you're in Ontario, I hope you have an umbrella. Take care.